The 1988 Cadillac Voyage, A Journey into the Future. Chapter 1. The Moment That Changed Everything. Late 1987. The American automotive industry stands at a crossroads. Cadillac, once the king of luxury sedans, is beginning to lose its influence. Cars are becoming smaller, more economical, more rational. Luxury is retreating before pragmatism. The executives of General Motors understand something radically new is needed. They must show the world that the future of luxury automobiles is not about size, but about technology. December 31, 1987. A gigantic project unfolds in the General Motors factories. A team of designers, engineers, and visionaries work around the clock. They are not simply creating a car, they are building a time machine, a machine that must captivate the imagination of exhibition visitors, a machine that will become a symbol of what transportation will look like in the next millennium. January 1988, New York, the legendary Waldorf Astoria Hotel. A large-scale exhibition called Teamwork and Technology unfolds here, as General Motors named it. The goal is simple but ambitious: to show the world the future of the automotive industry. The main exhibit must certainly be worthy of such an event. The Cadillac Voyage appears on stage. The visitors freeze. 5 meters and 400 centimeters of pure avant-garde, dressed in silvery white lacquer. Long, low, streamlined, like a spacecraft that has landed on asphalt. The name Voyage is chosen for a reason. In French, it means journey. And it truly is a journey into the future that Cadillac envisions for its customers. The prototype receives the factory number 001, the first and only one ever created. Chapter 2. Engineering Triumph and Design. Under the hood of the Voyage is a 4-speed automatic transmission coupled with an 8-cylinder engine with a displacement of 4.5 liters. Power output, 275 horsepower. But this is not simply an engine. This is an intelligent system capable of making decisions. The transmission automatically switches drive mode, from rear-wheel drive to front-wheel drive, from front-wheel drive to all-wheel drive. Sensors monitor every millimeter of wheel slippage. Should the rear wheels lose traction with the road, the system instantly reacts, redirecting power to the front wheels. With all-wheel drive engaged, perfect distribution is achieved. 50% of torque to the front, 50% to the rear. Cadillac engineers claim the Voyage can accelerate to 322 kilometers per hour. Maximum speed was electronically limited, and no one, not even the designers themselves, knew how close the car actually was to this theoretical limit. The 4-wheel disc braking system with electronic ABS lockup prevents skidding. 4-wheel independent suspension ensures perfect handling even at extreme speeds. Behind the appearance of the Voyage stands the name Jerry Brockstein, the chief designer of General Motors' Advanced Studio. A man who believed that the luxury of the future should be beautiful, not simply large. The lines of the body are so smooth and streamlined that the car looks like it's moving even when parked. The aerodynamic coefficient of resistance is just 0.28, which was a record for a large car. Chapter 3. A Salon from the Future. Opening the doors of the Voyage is like entering a world that seems to have come from a science fiction film. There are no visible door handles on the outside. Instead, there is a keyless entry system. To open the door, you need to enter a special code. This is a revolution for the late 1980s when locks were still opened with traditional keys. The interior is completely covered with soft leather of ivory color. Above the heads is not a roof with a sunroof, but a continuous tinted glass panel stretching from the windshield to the very rear lights. Visibility that automotive enthusiasts could only dream of before. The driver and passenger seats are a marvel of engineering. 20 adjustment positions. Mechanical and pneumatic moving elements create individual support for each part of the body. Backrest heating, seat heating, integrated massage system. 3 different positions are saved to memory. Simply press a button, and the seat moves to the correct position for the third driver. The headrests have an unusual shape, as if anatomical architects personally specified how the human head should be supported. Indeed, each seat was designed by orthopedic specialists. A long drive on the Voyage along the future superhighway should not tire passengers. Chapter 4. The Voice of the Machine and Communication. Built into the front armrest is a telephone, but this is not simply a handset. This is a telephone that understands human voice. The speech recognition system allows you to dial numbers with simple voice commands. The system adjusts volume depending on car speed. On the highway, the wind is louder, so the speaker compensates for interference. This was a period when cellular phones were just beginning to appear. At that time, they didn't fit in a pocket. But the Cadillac Voyage already had an integrated communication system that allowed a driver to have a conversation while driving without being distracted from the road. On the right side of the dashboard are 2 screens. One of them is the ETAK navigation system. The driver enters a destination, and the system displays the map in real time on a color display. The car itself determines the optimal route. This was in 1988, when GPS was just beginning to deploy its satellite network, and consumer internet did not exist at all. The second screen receives a signal from a rear-view camera. A video camera installed at the rear of the car sends an image of what is happening behind the Voyage directly to this screen. The driver can see what is behind without turning their head. The system amplifies the weak video signal, creating a clear image. A rear-view camera. In 1988, this was pure fantasy. Such systems appeared on mass-produced vehicles only in the mid-2000s, but on the Voyage, it was standard equipment. Chapter 5. Details that foresaw the future. The headlights and taillights of the Voyage are not ordinary bulbs. They are LEDs, LED strips stretching along the perimeter. The taillights are hidden under a single, continuous tinted glass panel. In front, the LEDs form a strip that glows like a single organism. This was 30 years before LED headlights would become the standard in the premium segment. In 1988, it seemed unbelievable. The windshield wipers, when not needed, retract under a special recess at the base of the windshield. Need to clean the glass. The wipers automatically rise on a hydraulic lift. The side mirrors and rear-view mirror automatically dim when headlights from oncoming traffic shine into them. The blinding light will not distract the driver. Instead of reflectors on the car body, light-reflecting bulbs are installed that illuminate at night, helping other drivers spot the parked Voyage on the roadside. The wheels of the Voyage are half hidden under special shrouds. This is done not for beauty. This solution reduces aerodynamic drag. But there is a twist. The front shrouds can move. When the car takes a sharp turn, sensors determine the steering wheel angle, and the shrouds automatically spread apart. This is necessary so that the wheels have enough room to work during a turn. Chapter 6. A Laboratory of the Future. In the wind tunnel, the prototype was tested dozens of times. Every millimeter of the streamlined form is the result of meticulous work. Engineers achieved a feat. A car 5.4 meters long has the aerodynamic drag coefficient of a compact sports car. This was not simply a luxury car. This was a mobile testing laboratory where the concepts of future automobiles were being verified. The all-wheel drive system with electronic distribution was revolutionary. Voice recognition technology appeared on the Voyage before any other mass-production automobile. The ETAK navigation system operated on the basis of maps stored on an onboard computer. The system was capable of tracking speed and route, providing recommendations to the driver. This was a predecessor to modern GPS, but already built into the automobile. All these technologies were integrated into a single control system. The Voyage's onboard computer was the car's brain. It coordinated the operation of the engine, transmission, all-wheel drive system, navigation, and communication. This was one of the first attempts to create a truly intelligent automobile. Chapter 7. A Dream That Never Came True. Cadillac hoped to produce hundreds of thousands of such cars. The plan was ambitious, but reality proved harsher than dreams. The technologies built into the car were very expensive. An all-wheel drive system with electronic distribution? Expensive. Tinted glass stretching 5 meters? Expensive. Automatic wheel shrouds? Expensive. Voice recognition system? Very expensive. The ETAK navigation system? Expensive. A rear-view camera? Extremely expensive for the late 1980s. No one knew how much a Cadillac Voyage would cost if it were ever put into production. Calculations showed astronomical figures. The automobile was economically unviable for the mass market. Cadillac never went into serial production. Only one example remained, prototype number 001. But this did not mean that the work on the Voyage was in vain. Every element, every technology, every engineering solution had an impact on the automotive industry. The concept showed the world what was possible. It showed what should be pursued. It showed which technologies should appear in the coming years and decades. Chapter 8. A Legacy That Changed the Industry. In 1991, the Cadillac Seville CTS appeared. This production car borrowed many stylistic features from the Voyage: streamlined body lines, a redesigned front grille design, aerodynamic philosophy. The Voyage proposed the concept. The Seville realized it in metal and plastic. Over time, technologies that seemed incredible in 1988 became normal. Navigation systems are now in every car. GPS is available to everyone. Rear-view cameras appeared in the 2000s and are now required by law in the United States. LED headlights are the standard in the premium segment. Voice recognition systems control cars through artificial intelligence. All-wheel drive with electronic management is now a familiar option. The Voyage not only foresaw these technologies, the Voyage proved that they worked. General Motors engineers created a car that could function in real-world conditions. These were not simply drawings on paper. This was a working prototype that demonstrated the viability of all proposed solutions. Other manufacturers looked at the Voyage and understood. This is the direction we need to go. BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, they all developed their own technologies, inspired by the ideas shown to the world by this silvery white concept from New York. Chapter 9. Premonition and Mistakes. The Voyage had one important misjudgment about the future. Cadillac envisioned future cars as large, comfortable, soft. Seats without side bolsters that embrace the body. Priority, maximum comfort, not sporty handling. But the luxury car market went a different way. Instead of ultimate comfort, buyers began to prefer sportiness. Seats with side bolsters that hold the driver during aggressive cornering, stiff suspensions instead of soft ones, dynamism instead of floating softness. The Voyage was wrong about consumer demand, but not wrong about technologies. Moreover, today, As cars become increasingly autonomous, the idea of maximum comfort that the Voyage advocated is becoming relevant again. When the driver stops controlling the car, they will indeed need those soft, embracing seats that Cadillac engineers designed in 1987-1988. Chapter 10. A Monument to an Era. Today, in 2026, as the Voyage turns 38 years old, the car still exists. It is a miracle of museum preservation, a monument to an era when General Motors engineers were willing to take risks and dream about the future. The car is stored under careful conditions. Occasionally, it is brought to automobile exhibitions. People gather around it, just as they did in the distant 1988 at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. They touch the smooth body, peer inside, examine the unprecedented technologies. The Cadillac Voyage is a car that asks the question, what should the automobile of the future be? And it answered that question with its technologies, its design, its philosophy. The most important thing the Voyage left us is the idea that a car can be more than simply a means of transportation. It can be a laboratory that tests possibilities. It can be a prophet that shows humanity the path into tomorrow. It can be a dream embodied in metal and electronics. When you tell this story, remember, before the listener unfolds not simply the history of a car, this is the story of humanity's capacity for foresight. A story about how engineers of one giant corporation gathered at the end of 1987 and decided to show the world what they saw in its future day. 38 years later, much of what they predicted has become reality, and some of the Voyage's ideas still await the moment when they will be brought to life. This is the story of the Voyage, a car that flew from the future in 1988 and remained with us forever.